Have you ever stopped to think about why you're the one who loves a quiet night in with a good book while your friend is the life of every party? Or why some people just seem like natural-born leaders? Well, today we're going to dive deep and unravel one of psychology's biggest puzzles, the science of personality.
I mean, really, take a second. What is it that makes you, you? Is it your sense of humor? Your ambition? The way you handle stress? It's a question we all think about. And the answer, as we're about to find out, is so much more than just what we see on the surface.
So let's get our terms straight. The word personality actually comes from the Latin word persona, which, funny enough, means an actor's mask. But here's the twist. It's not about hiding who you are. In psychology, it's the total opposite. It's that consistent, unique pattern of how you think, feel, and act that is authentically you, day in and day out. Okay, so if personality is this big, complex thing, where does it come from? The best way to think about it is like a recipe. You've got all these different ingredients that come together to make the final dish. That is you. So let's check out what those key ingredients are. The recipe really starts with two big categories, nature and nurture. On the nature side of things, you've got your heredity. You know, the genetic stuff you get from your parents, and even your body's own chemistry, like your hormones. But then, nurture comes in and really starts shaping things. Your family, your friends, school, the culture you grow up in. All of these are constantly being mixed into your psychological makeup. Let's just zoom in on family for a second, because it's our very first social world, and its impact is just massive. Study after study shows that a warm and supportive family life directly helps a kid build self-confidence and self-esteem. And, well, the opposite is also true. An environment that's maybe overprotective or neglectful can leave a totally different and often much tougher mark. And then you've got your friends. I mean, think about it. Our peer groups are incredibly powerful. They definitely influence the surface stuff, right? Like your clothes or what music you're into. But they also get in there and mold the deeper things, your work ethic, how you talk to people, even your core values and beliefs. So we have all these ingredients swirling around, but how do psychologists make sense of it all? Well, they've come up with different theories, which you can think of as different blueprints or maps to help us understand the complex architecture of our inner selves. One of the most famous blueprints comes from the psychologist Carl Jung, and for him, it's all about where you get your energy. He came up with two basic types. You've got introverts, who recharge their batteries by turning inward with quiet and reflection, and then you have extroverts, who plug into the world around them. They get their energy from being social and interacting with others. Now, here's the really important part. Jung never meant for these to be strict, rigid boxes you have to fit in. Pretty much nobody is a 100% pure introvert or extrovert. The reality is most of us are somewhere in the middle of that spectrum. We're ambiverts, a mix of both, able to tap into both our quiet side and our social side, depending on the situation. So while Jung was looking at broad types, another psychologist, Gordon Allport, gave us a different kind of blueprint. He focused on specific traits, and he saw them organized in a hierarchy. At the very top, you might have a super rare cardinal trait, a single thing that just defines a person's entire life. More common for all of us are central traits. These are like the 5 to 10 words your friends would probably use to describe you. And then you have secondary traits, the ones that only pop up in certain situations, like getting nervous before you have to give a speech. To really get a handle on what a cardinal trait is, just think of a major historical figure. For someone like Mahatma Gandhi, truthfulness wasn't just one of his traits. It was the central driving force of his entire existence. You could say the same thing about Mother Teresa and her compassion, or Napoleon and his ambition. It's the one word that pretty much tells the whole story. Okay, let's fast forward to today. The most widely used and scientifically respected blueprint we have now is the Big Five model. The whole idea is that the incredible complexity of our personality can be understood by looking at where we fall on 5 key spectrums. And the easiest way to remember them is with the acronym OCEAN: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Let's just grab one of those to see how it works. Take neuroticism. This isn't about being good or bad. It's just a scale. If you're high in neuroticism, you're just more likely to feel negative emotions like anxiety or get irritated easily. On the other hand, if you're low in neuroticism, you tend to be more emotionally stable and calm. See, it's just a spectrum. So we've got these incredible blueprints, but how do psychologists actually figure out where someone lands on these maps? Let's open up the toolkit and see how they measure and analyze personality. Psychologists have a whole bunch of tools, but most of them fall into three main categories. First, you've got behavioral analysis. That could be a formal interview, or it could be as simple as just observing how someone acts. Then there are self-report inventories, the classic personality quizzes. And finally, you have the most mysterious ones, projective methods. Projective methods, this is where things get really fascinating. They're designed to get past our conscious brain and tap right into our unconscious. The idea is pretty simple, actually. You give someone something totally ambiguous, like an ink blot, and whatever they see in it, well, that's them projecting their own hidden fears, hopes, and feelings onto it. Let's try one out right now. Imagine a psychologist asks you to finish this sentence. I wish I could forget the time I... What pops into your head? Whether your answer is about something embarrassing or a regret or a failure, to a psychologist, that answer could reveal a whole lot about your inner world. Now, if projective tests are about digging around in the unconscious, self-report inventories are much more straightforward. These are the kinds of personality tests you've probably seen before. You get a list of statements, and you just rate how much you agree or disagree. It's a structured way to get a quick snapshot of how you see yourself. So we've looked at the ingredients, we've looked at the blueprints, and we've looked at the tools. What does it all add up to? It means that your personality is this one-of-a-kind, constantly active, and incredibly intricate design. Gordon Allport, the trait theory guy, probably gave us the best definition of all. He said personality is a dynamic organization. Dynamic meaning it's not set in stone, it's always moving and active. It's the way your mind and body work together to figure out your own unique way of dealing with the world. It's not just who you are, it's how you are. Look, understanding all this stuff isn't just for a psychology class. It's about getting the blueprints to how you yourself are wired. So the real question at the end of the day is this. Now that you have a better idea of the blueprints, what are you going to build?